And we are back. Welcome, guys, to the High Performance Cricket Podcast, episode 11, I believe. I'm your host, Jason Cox, and today in this episode, we're going to chat a bit about the mental side of the game of cricket. I think the mental side is probably the main thing that ruins cricket careers or doesn't allow people to, number one, most importantly, enjoy the game as much as they probably should, and also perform as well as they probably should. One thing I believe is that we have a skill set. Let's relate that to a video game rated player. Let's say we're a 90 rated player. That's our skill set. But a lot of players, myself included, in the past, go out to play at a 75 or a 70 rated player because they got a mental handbrake on. And it's not because they're a worse and a less talented player. It's purely because their mindset and their psychology is not allowing them to maximize their skill set on game days. That's why you get people who are absolute freaks in the nets. They absolutely smack the ball around, they're bowling rapid, they're unplayable. Get them out onto a game and they turn to a show themselves. And it's because there's just so much added pressure and fear of failure and things like that, trying to control things that we can't control. That is just absolutely ruining a lot of players' careers and really affecting their game. So we're going to chat a bit about that, chat about some of my own experiences, some experiences that I've had with others and some other people that I've helped coach as well. It should be a really, really good chat, a pretty vulnerable chat as well. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. But a bit of background on what's been happening over the last week or so. Unfortunately, I'm having trouble getting the last podcast out. So I recorded the last podcast. I'll try to get this out Monday morning. And for some reason, I've uploaded it onto my Podbean, which is like, a website or a platform that you upload to and then it goes straight into Spotify, apparently. But it's not gone on Spotify. So I've uploaded it twice, hasn't gone on. And I'm not a guru at this either. So I'm hoping that you get to listen to this podcast and it works. Hopefully all of them should be up by then. But that's been a little bit frustrating for me. But it's been a good week the last week. I've got a few new cricketers I'm working with, which is really, really exciting. So I got a kid, Xavier, coming to the gym, 6'2", 14-year-old fast bowler, apparently bowling up around 120 already, which is number one, absolutely rapid. And of course, he's good at footy, good at basketball. So really interesting case study there. But he's also had a lot of injuries. So I think for him, not having too much experience in the gym, it's just going to be about getting him moving properly, moving more efficiently, and then ultimately building up his strength and his work capacity and just trying to bank some consistent playing, bank some consistent games to hopefully mitigate against his risk of injury. Everything that we do is injury mitigation. So let's say we go to the gym and we get a stronger hamstring. Hopefully that means that our hamstring is less likely to be injured because it can tolerate more force. Whenever something gets injured, let's say you strain your hammy, we've put too much force through that tissue and then it's torn or it's strained, and that's how our injury occurs. Same thing, let's say, with that broken leg. If you jump off a 10-meter building down to the ground and you break your leg, it's because the landing forces are too great for the leg to handle, and then all of a sudden you break your leg. So the plan is that if we increase our ability to produce and absorb more force, if we can absorb more force, then ideally that means that we're less likely to get injured. So that's going to be a plan with Xavier, just to get some fundamental strength into him. And he's had a fair few injuries and we probably won't change the program too much. We're going to teach him how to squat. We're going to teach him how to hinge. I'm going to teach him how to lunge. We're going to teach him how to brace properly and where his pelvis and ribs and that relationship works. Going to teach him how to push and pull and his scapular mechanics, and then going to teach him how to run and change direction and do all those good things and getting him moving in the most efficient way possible. So that's something I'm really, really excited for him. Absolute talent. And I work with people and cricketers that no matter what sort of talent levels they have, but when you got somebody who is showing that sort of ability, that sort of talent, absolutely awesome to see. I'm someone I'm really, really keen on helping out through his journey, because these are sort of kids that need the nurturing a lot. I work with guys with like Gus, you would have seen on my stories and that, who's Vic Country footy captain. He's St Kilda under 16s captain. He's Vic under 17s cricket. Hopefully, like, there's kids that are talented at multiple different sports. It's the load management thing. Going back on the podcast that I did last week or 2 weeks ago around managing load and load management and that, it's just so important that we understand what are the big rocks and how can we best build these bodies up to withstand the loads that that the kids want to play in sport. Like, at the end of the day, sport is a more dangerous load than going to the gym. So that's a massive myth as well that I absolutely hate. People go, or parents will say, oh, going to the gym is going to stunt their growth, it's too dangerous. But, you'll let kids go out and get smashed playing footy and smash their head into the ground and fucking all that sort of stuff. Which, not saying it's bad, but it's a bit of a contradiction when we're lifting some weights and we're moving it nice and controlled and slow and in the presence of a coach. So if you're ever worried about going to the gym, it's going to stunt your growth or it's going to be dangerous, just think about footy. Think about how many stress fractures kids get playing cricket. I think you're so much more likely to get injured playing sport than you are in the gym. So that's one of my biggest pet hates from parents or people who are a bit scared of getting to the gym. It's literally the thing that you need to do to not get injured. It's literally a good analogy would be it's our airbags in the car. It's the thing that actually makes playing sport safer. And then if you can play more sport not being injured, then you're probably going to be a better player because you're training more and all that sort of stuff. So really, really cool. Work with Xavier. Really, really keen. Freddie as well was joining up as well. Work with him at Haileybury in the footy season, and he's also first 11 player at cricket. Absolute superstar of a bloke, an absolute superstar of a just genuine dedicated athlete. So he's going to his year 12 year next year. He's 16, 17 years old. Never really touched weights before. So extremely raw in terms of that department as well. And so let's say Xavier and Freddie, although they're 3 or 4 years apart, they're going to be on a pretty similar program because their training age is actually relatively similar. They haven't actually spent that much time in the gym. So once again, building the right techniques, building some work capacity, understanding the movements, and then let's start to build some load after we get those down pat. It's going to be absolutely crucial. Having seen Freddie, play footy in that last year when I was the S&C at Haileybury, great runner, superb runner, fit as, just ran a 15K under 5 minute K pace in the off season. Like, he's fit as. That's sort of the thing that he's been doing. He's just been focused on his running, but hasn't worked on his strength and his power and things like that. And that's where we're hopefully going to take his game to the next level, which will hopefully translate into his cricket performance, but also hopefully getting picked up next year and drafted into the AFL. So really cool, really cool working with him and getting him started, and a couple of other guys as well. Working with a 40-year-old online as well, who's playing cricket in Melbourne. Just wants to still perform his best later into his career. So getting him strong, getting him moving well. And the workload management might need to actually pull back a bit of load just because, well, being older, your body doesn't recover as well as what it used to. And then, working with a couple of other younger boys as well, especially in the mindset sort of field, which I'll go into later as well. Absolutely massive. Like, some of these young kids, and when I was 16, 17 years old, like, absolutely had demons in my head playing cricket. Absolute demons in the guys. And I'd be blowing up and stuff like that, and people who play with me would be they'd definitely be knowing that for sure. So that'd be really, really good to chat about that in the near future in a second. But what else has been going on last week or so? I'll keep you guys updated on a bit of the social life too. So right now it's grand final week in Melbourne, or in Australia. So AFL grand final, the biggest weekend of the year potentially in terms of beers drank. So it's going to be a solid one for me, which I'm actually pretty keen for right now. It's Thursday night right now, Thursday afternoon. I've got a pretty exciting, pretty fun few days coming up, so it's going to be good fun. But last weekend, obviously for the prelim, I was out and about a little bit, like from the weekend. Caught up with a couple of mates on Friday arvo, and then had one of my best mates' birthday dinners on Friday night. Went out to a nice little wine bar, Political Young's in Hawthorn. Good food, bit expensive, fine dining sort of stuff. But bloody beautiful. What did I have? Had the ravioli, and then I had a lamb croquet, I believe, for entree. Washed it down with a few reds. Absolutely gorgeous. Luckily, my mate's old man was taking the bill because it would have been quite an expensive one. So absolutely claim that one. Nothing like a free feed, a couple of free reds. Big shout out to his girlfriend Lids as well. Baked an unbelievable cake as well on the Friday night. So I'll give you a big shout out. Went home, watched the last little bit of the footy. Happy days. So that was actually good fun then. It had a nice day on Saturday. Went down, watched a couple of my clients actually play in a practice match. So my mate whose birthday I went to on Friday night, he's playing on the Saturday. So I rolled in there, watched him play for St Kilda. Absolute. Who else was playing that game? Who we knew? We were Sammy Newell, one of the OGs from High Performance Cricket. It was great to see him. Absolute great man. If you listen to this, was unreal to see her. A couple of Gippy boys who just started up. Charlie Morrison, Noah Hurley. It was actually quite a fair few. Me boys would love been doing some programming for as well. So there's a fair few boys I knew there from programming and that. So yeah, it was good actually to go down and see a couple of new clients play and watch them strut their stuff. So that was elite. Was it rolled in there for a little bit, caught up with Brody Simons, Premier Cricket now at Paran, had a coffee, and then from there rolled into the London Tavern for a few beers and watched what an unbelievable prelim that was, the Geelong and Brisbane one. Whoa, absolutely unbelievable game. I was going for the Cattery. I love Jezza. I actually love Paddy Dangerfield. Some people hate him, but I'm all for him. Love his bit out there, and loves to have a chat and that. So a bit disappointed the Cats didn't win, but to be fair, I didn't really care that much. And Brizzy into the granny this week, and I'm gonna back Brizzy in. I've gone Brisbane to win, Hugh McCluggage for the Normie, and then I've gone first goal Tommy Papley, and he's going to carry on in the crowd, and it's going to go off. So you guys will probably see this podcast on the Monday. So let's see how well I got with that one. My plans the next few days. Tonight I've got Box Hill Hawks footy presentation. That's going to be a good stint, I reckon. Keen for that. It's just table service at the G as well. Absolute gorgeous setup at the G, looking over the ground. So I'll let you guys know how the G is looking for the granny. Table service, beers. Should be quite nice. A little bit of an after party, bit of fun, and then rolling into Friday. Hopefully get up into the gym, and then I'm hosting a house party at my joint. Bit of a joint birthday. My birthday next week, but mainly just an excuse to get some people around, have a bit of fun on public holiday. So a few beers at my joint, bit of a late arvo start, and then roll into the night. Should be awesome. A couple of gazebos, inside outside set up. Good old fashioned house party. So it should be nice actually. Got a fair few coming. So could be a bit going on. And then grand final day, heading into Richmond, heading into the Swan, the Dirty Swan. Haven't been to the Dirty Swan for a little while, but getting into Richmond, getting to Swan Street for grand final. First time I've done it. I've only ever done house parties and that. So this is actually going to be quite interesting. Quite keen. And then I've got my mate's birthday on the Sunday for a barbecue. So might not be kicking on Monday. Might be a slow week on the content next week. I might be a little bit dusty, but we will soldier on from there. So as you can tell, I'm pretty excited. I'm actually buzzing for the weekend. Always got to have a bit of balance, have a bit of fun as well, and not just take yourself too seriously. So yeah, pretty keen. But I reckon what we're going to roll into today is dealing with pressure and dealing with like the mental skills of cricket. And I think that, as I sort of mentioned before, like cricketers, it's the big cliche is cricketers played above the shoulders, and I think it's so true. Like I know from my experiences, like playing games and playing when you go up and playing some rep cricket or some high level, it's that self doubt. Like, am I good enough for this level? Am I? Do these people rate me? Do these people think I'm any good? Or when you have a bad performance, you're asking yourself, you're thinking everyone hates me, or things like that, and or the nerves or the self-doubt that's come over you when you're in high pressure moments in games, and then it just affects your enjoyment for cricket. Like when you have these expectations that let's be honest, like you put these expectations on yourself. I put expectations on myself when I was younger, and it made me bloody hate playing cricket. Like I don't play cricket anymore, like for a couple of reasons. Like work took over, so I got jobs working in S&C at the Hawks and things like that. So that took over the exact same times when cricket was on. But I wasn't. If I absolutely was loving cricket still, or if I was absolutely loved cricket, I wouldn't have taken it up. But like in terms of playing the game itself, like the mental side for me, I had a fair few demons coming up through teenage years and that, and I just didn't enjoy playing cricket. Like I pretty much played cricket because I was good at it, and I enjoy being good at it. But whenever I was sort of challenged in that, I didn't really have the frameworks to work through that, and it's a little bit unfortunate. But that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm massive on the mental skills side of the game. Like why I help a lot of my athletes with that stuff, because I want people to enjoy their cricket. Like enjoy playing the game. Like I'm an absolute, like obviously you can tell it's my work, and so I'm a bit of a snuff for watching it. Like I watch some Sheffield Shield cricket. I go down to a practice match, watch Dandenong versus St Kilda playing on a Saturday arvo. The game doesn't matter, but in terms of playing the game, don't have too much interest in it, just because I've sort of been through, I've played enough, and it's a quite interesting one. But I reckon if I had some better mental frameworks and that to deal with things and some strategies when I was a bit younger, I reckon I'd have a different relationship with playing the game as well. Because I think it's a lot of people, it's a pretty cliche thing to hate playing cricket, and we throw it out there, which is like, I know I was the number one person to do that as well, but like it's probably instilling subconsciously something into your mind. Like if when we're joking about things like, oh yeah, we're shit, oh yeah, we're bowling backwards, like subconsciously that does instill itself into you. So just be careful with the way how you talk about the game, or the way how you speak to yourself and things like that. It all subconsciously sets in. That's one thing some advice I'd have. The reason why a lot of times I feel like people aren't enjoying cricket is because they're not controlling the controllables. So what does that mean? Like, I know a lot of, pressure, a lot of anxiety, a lot of being upset is around things that you can't control. Number one, team selection. How much anxiety have you had around selection for a rep team? Round one, let's say you're starting in the twos, why am I playing ones? All those sort of things out of our control completely. And then we can then start focusing on things that are outside of our control as well, like things like the opposition is playing, worrying about the results, outcome-based things, like worrying about how many runs we might score this season, worrying about how much wickets we might take today, when it's all out of our control. That's why I'm so massive on worrying about the things that we can control and putting all that energy into that. We only have a limited amount of energy. There's so much time, so much energy we have. We may as well put it towards something that's actually going to help us influence the results that we want. Wanting to perform doesn't mean you're going to perform. That's why I think goal setting can be a little bit overrated. Like goal setting, and what I mean by that is, let's score 800 runs this year. Let's take 50 wickets this year. Like going into a game, every bowler wants to take 5. Every batter wants to make 100. Like you're not any special by having these certain massive big goals. But the people who are special, the people who are put these performances out every single year, are the people who have really, really, really good systems in place. They control their controllables. They control their preparation. They control their training standards. They control how they train during the week to get themselves best prepared for the game. They work on the weaknesses. They develop their skill set. They put themselves in environments to train hard, so when they go to the game, it's easier. When it comes to the mindset, they just purely worry. They put their energy towards themselves. They're not worrying about what other people might be thinking of them. They're not worrying about the bowler down the other end. They're worrying about watching this ball really, really hard. They're worried about switching on and off. They're worrying about their own pre-ball routine that sets them up to perform. And then that's how you get consistent performances. But it's by doing the things that you can control over and over again. Not worrying about trying to score runs. Because, mate, at the end of the day, everyone wants to score a 50 or 100, as I said. But how do we do that? How do we actually do that? It's a pretty simple game, cricket, when you to talk about. What do you want to do? Yeah, I want to take 5 today. But how do you actually do that? How do you build a consistent performer? How do you become a consistent performer? And a lot of that does come to how we manage our expectations and pressure. I believe that everything is internal pressure. So it comes down to how everything at the end of the day is how we interpret it. So it's our own expectations on performance. Yes, it can be a bit of a double-edged sword. It can make you more motivated. It can also cause anxiety. Now, yes, there is also some external pressure, but the thing when it comes to pressure is I would love for you, right, to go out there and take a picture of pressure for me. Take a picture of it, show it to me, send it to me on Instagram, please, or bring it into me and show me. Because the thing is, we can't. It's not actually a real thing. It's just something that we build up in our own minds. And yes, you may feel that somebody might be putting pressure onto you, or that this situation is a high pressure situation. But at the end of the day, it's just our construct that we've created in our own head. When we are 9 down with 1 run to go, it will feel high pressure. But at the end of the day, it's still the same ball coming down. It's still the same bowls. It's still the same conditions. But in our heads, we've created, in this subjective reality that we're living in, we've created this extra high pressure. There's more at stake on this next ball bowled than when you're 5 for 200 cruising and you're 100 not out. Still the same game, but we put these situations in that we make them such a more of a high pressure situation. Same thing, right? Selection pressure, or I need to score runs this week to stay in the team, or we create these narratives. It's all about creating narratives and the story we tell ourselves. We can either, how I like to see that as well, we're going to tell ourselves a story. Let's be honest, we may as well tell ourselves a story that's going to help us. Telling yourself, I need to runs this week or I'm going to get dropped, or these guys won't like me if I don't score runs this week, or the coach hates me, I haven't been performing, or geez, I'm shit, whenever I come up to this level I never perform. Or we can create narratives that support us. Geez, I'm going to do really well today. I'm the best player here when I get things right. I am up to this level. I can do this. Changing our mindset, changing this narrative that we create is the most important thing you'll ever do to ensure that you actually can deal with these environments, deal with these pressure environments. One thing that I see a lot too is people putting pressure onto other people. And the big one that I see is parents. Parents and coaches. Especially parents. I see some absolute shocking parents that you can tell their kids are just getting absolutely buried in the pressure their parents are putting on them. And you can tell this is going to happen when it's the parents that are doing all the talking. So let's say I've a parent come in, it's the parent doing the talking. Little Johnny needs to work on this. He's not good at this. He needs to work on this. We've done this. It's all about he needs to improve on this more. But same with the kids saying, yeah, I want to work on this. Or, I've tried this, but that didn't really work for me. I want to try something else. It's always that the parent talent bombarding you on what the kid's done, what he's good at, what he's bad at, all that sort of stuff. And they're treating the kids like kids. And I believe if you treat kids like kids, they'll be kids. Treat kids like adults, they'll be adults. And I reckon, you can see the kids. I've heard stories of kids who have had to find their own way home from a game of cricket if they didn't score over 30. Like, what the fuck is with that? I have seen parents that they're sitting behind the net at a one-on-one coaching session just critiquing everything, and then they get the kid in the car and they blast them. Or they just question everything. Why you play that shot of that ball? Or, you need to be better next week. Or after a game of cricket, you need to be better next week. How'd you go out to that ball? You can't be doing that. And that's where you get people as well who bat for themselves because they're worried about going out. They fear the results. And the parents don't understand that. The parents think it's coming from a place of love, but a lot of the time I see so many bad parents. That's harsh. Not bad parents, bad sporting parents who are put on that much expectation and pressure on their kids, and they're trying to live through their kids. Ultimately, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to live through their kids. They're trying to make their kids be the best player they can be. But what they're doing, they're creating an unhealthy relationship with cricket and sport because they're putting too much pressure. And yes, it's them putting the pressure on the kid, but the kid doesn't have the strategies or the frameworks to deal with that pressure either. That's the thing. So if someone was doing that to me right now, wouldn't be water for duck's bat. I got the balance, I got the perspective to understand that look, I'm gonna let them. That's like the let them mindset. I'll let them be them, but I'm just gonna run my own show and take advice here, absolutely, but I'm not gonna allow myself to be pressured by somebody else. As a kid, but if my old man was doing that, which he wasn't, my parents were great sporting parents. Just you do what you want to do. We'll drive you there. We'll let the coaches coach you. And we'll just be parents. But it's when you start mixing that relationship between coach, parent, things can get a little bit murky from my experiences that I've seen. Yes, there's people who do it really, really well, absolutely. But I've seen a lot of parents cook their kids' mindset, I reckon, by putting so much pressure on them. So that's one thing that I'm just so massive on. Is just the language we talk to these young kids is so crucial to help and build their foundation for enjoying cricket. I think when it comes to pressure and performing in high pressure games as well, or dealing with failure, that's the main thing as well. Like people's fear of failure is the thing that's crippling them the most. Like scared about going out, scared about bowling a bad ball, scared of what other people might think of them. All this stuff comes down to like not having as much perspective as what we probably should. Like classic examples: kid makes a rep team. They think, how good is this? My life could not get any better. They go away to the tournament and have an absolute stinker. Whether it's don't take any wickets or they get smacked around or don't make any runs. And then they're in tears, they're crying. I think their whole cricketing career is over and it's all on from there. In the moment, as a kid, I was the same. You think it's done. I remember coming off the ground after a state game, my last one that I played in juniors. I just had a bad tournament. Went in, we had 12 fielders. So I went off the ground after my spell, and I felt a shit spell. I'm like, fuck, I was in tears. I was like, fuck, just ruined me chance. And here I am talking on a podcast, not playing professional cricket, so maybe I did. But life goes on, and who gives a fuck? Like, end of the day, what we're lacking a lot of times when it comes to this stuff is balance and perspective. Like, mate, you're out there, you're in Queensland with your best mates playing cricket for Victoria, and there's kids my age who are on their deathbed, they're sick, they've got cancer. Like, what the fuck? I'm just playing a game of cricket at the end of the day. So I think that perspective piece, like, we could all do with having a bit more perspective when it comes to sport and cricket in particular, because we make it everything. We make our performances in cricket everything, and that's why we can fall out of love with the game. We can start hating the game because we lose perspective on what cricket is. We play cricket to enjoy. We play cricket because it makes our life better. We should be doing everything to make our life better, to have the most fun, not let it cripple us. And yes, we can have goals to be a professional cricketer. We can have goals to score a lot of runs, but the way to actually allow it to happen, the players who are at that level, they have great balance, they have great perspective, and it's because that allows them to play with freedom. And as I talked about at the start, that takes that mental handbrake off. When we know that cricket's not everything, when we know that we have life outside of cricket, we know we have better perspective on the life and the world, we can just go out there and just let our skills flourish. Game day is a show. We're not scared of going out. We're not stiff and rigid and worried about going out. We're going there. We're expressing our skills. We're showcasing what we've got, and we're bloody having a crack. We're not allowing this made-up pressure of a game make us a worse cricketer. So that's why having more perspective on things and understanding that it's just a game. It's just a game of cricket. There's people in a lot worse situations. There's people your age who are on their deathbed right now. There's people right now who are dying right now who are our age. People who are losing parents, losing loved ones, and we're worried about nicking off on a green seamer or getting smacked around the park when we're standing around in the sun having. There's people living in third world countries, right? We've got these elite facilities that we're training in. We've got $1,000 cricket bats. We're wearing $500 worth of cricket kit. There's people in third world countries right now who just would die for some clean running water, and we're worried about fucking nicking off or someone hitting us around the park a little bit. And that's what I think is the most powerful thing when it comes to unlocking your mindset and unlocking the freedom, to play with freedom, play without the fear of failure, is to understand there's a lot more things going on in this world, and we're just doing something that we love, and let's go out there when you play cricket. And just like that perspective piece is really, really important when it comes to finding balance in our lives and and having a really strong mindset when it comes to cricket. Other things as well is I really like journaling, like writing down your thoughts and it's yes, you get like that typical stereotype. Oh, you did writing a diary, things like that. I think that's a bit time to grow up a little bit. I think writing down your thoughts makes things so much clearer. And you know what? You can use it as almost like a positive reinforcement thing as well. Writing down notes like going into a game or training. Tomorrow I'm going to be really positive. Tomorrow I'm going to stick to my process. Tomorrow I'm going to have the mindset that nobody's better than me and I'm the best player on the field. Things like that. Absolutely gold, I feel like. And then that allows you to reflect as well. You can write down your mental state post-game. Then you can get a bit of a database on noticing some trends. When I get anxious, this is why I get anxious. And then you can put in things around that. When I get nervous, this is why I'm getting nervous. And then you can start to analyze trends, and then you can really start to understand yourself a lot better. And when you understand your own triggers, you understand what makes you tick, you understand what makes you feel pressure, what makes you feel anxious, what makes you sad, what makes you feel happy, what makes you play with freedom. What do you do when you play with freedom and you're at your best? If we're writing this stuff down, then you're going to be a lot better player than the person that doesn't. Absolutely not. Breathing techniques out in the middle as well, like slow, controlled breath, lowering your heart rate, lowering symptoms of anxiety. Absolutely so important as well. Using visualization as well is really, really big. Like, there's so much data out there showing how important visualization is to performance and how much that affects. So doing that the night before a game, visualizing, the more vivid you can visualize, the better. So if you know the bowler, picture the bowler running in, bowling you, what shots you're going to play, what mindset you're going to be in. Even if you can smell the smell of the grass, the more vivid you can be, the more senses you can bring into it, the better. And that helps you prepare for high pressure moments, reinforcing positive outcomes to help you deal with tough situations in the game. Unbelievable. And these are all certain, strategies, but it's really important. It all ties into what I'm going to finish off with is having a really good routine, having a system in place that you can go back to under pressure. That might be when you bowl the ball, you as you're walking back, you analyze the ball. What did you do well? What didn't you do well? Then from there, you go back top of your mark, take a deep breath, go into your system. You say a word in your head that you do at your best. I love reinforcing positive things. Reinforce what you do under pressure. So you walk back to your mark, analyze the ball. You know what ball you're going to bowl. You know what field you have. All right. What you need to take control of the game. Take a breath. All right. Hit the deck hard. Or bounce in your run up, or something like that. Give you something positive, a positive reinforcement, not the mindset of you're shit. Oh fuck, I hope I get it for 4. Oh no. Have something right on your wrist. Have a word or a saying that you say to yourself every single ball before you bat, before you bowl, and reinforce that. Because the human brain, we can only focus on one thing at once. So if we're focusing on hitting the deck hard, we're going to focus on that. We're not going to be focusing on, this batter's too good for me. Oh, Jesus, this is hard right now. Jeez, I'm shit. These guys think I'm any good. No. You're just worrying about hitting that deck bloody hard. And that's why having a routine is what allows you to perform consistently. If you want consistent results, you need a consistent mindset, you need consistent training, and you need a consistent routine. And all those things tie in. If we're doing these right things, that allows you to perform under pressure more consistently. Is consistent preparation, consistent mindset, consistent training, having consistent routines, controlling the controllables, and ultimately having great balance and perspective is the way for you to have an enjoyable day of cricket and ultimately have an enjoyable career. These are one of the many things that me and my clients chat with. So if you're interested in, having some of these discussions and talking about, the mindset of cricket, then I'm more than happy to help you with that. My coaching applications link is in the bio of here. But please subscribe to the pod, whether it's on YouTube or on Spotify. Leave a review, leave a comment on Instagram. That'll be absolutely great. It keeps on telling me I'm running out of storage on my laptop. So I'm going to finish up now. Thank you so much for listening or watching, and I'll speak to you guys next time. Have a great day, guys. Love yous.